Hello everybody, welcome back. And we are back with one more geometry video before we jump back into graphs, data, statistics, all that stuff. And we're talking complex solid figures. Last time we talked about solid objects, solid figures, just what are these three-dimensional shapes. However, in your daily life, you don't always just randomly see just a cone, let's say that. You wouldn't just see a cone like this sitting alongside of the road. You would see something like you see in number one. It doesn't just have a cone, it's got another type of three-dimensional object. So, we're going to go through a few of those examples. This is going to be a pretty short video. But I did want to practice these a little bit too and kind of let you know, okay, keep your eyes open because in your daily life you're going to see a whole bunch of different things that are made up of multiple three-dimensional objects. So, our job right here is to take a look at each one of these 9 things. And we're just going to list what types of 3D objects we see in that item. Some of these things I might bring up that we haven't talked about in past or in the last video, a type of 3D object, but for the most part, everything on here in this piece of paper that we're going to work through, we have talked about so far. But number 1, as I mentioned, we have our cone. But you notice, not only do we have a cone, I'm going to write cone down, but there is something else, this little part right down here, that I'm going to color in with red. To me, that looks like it's got some rectangles on the sides, looks like it's got a square up on top. That tells me, hey, I got a square on top, a square on the bottom, some rectangles going all the way around the side connecting them. That tells me that we have something very, very similar to, maybe it's this one? Yes, similar to this. It's not a perfect square up on top, but similar to this. Okay, this shape right here is a prism. I'm not going to go very specific. We're just going to call it a prism. Okay, so we have a cone and we have a prism making up that traffic cone. So if you're driving down the road, or if you're riding down the road with your parents, your family, and you see one of these, that's got a cone. It doesn't look identical to this, obviously, but it's got a cone and it's got a rectangular prism on the bottom as well. Now this one right here, number 2, looks like a push pin or a tack. Now this red part up here, I would call that a disc, but it also does kind of look like a very, very short, very, very fat cylinder. It's pushing it, but I would, just because we have talked about cylinders, I think we're going to call that a cylinder, because you can kind of see an edge right along here. You can kind of see an edge, if I move my pen, where there is a little bit of height to it. And then we got the big circle and the big circle. So I'm going to call that a cylinder. And then we have, looks like another cylinder there, but you notice down at the very bottom here, inside of that little rectangle I drew, looks like we have another cone. Looks like a very, very pointy end to that second cylinder. So we're going to call that a cone. So we have 2 cylinders, a short, fat one here, a long, skinny one here, and then we have that little pointy end at the end that we can call a cone. How about over here, number 3? We were using those Unifix cubes a couple videos ago, and we were talking about volume. That's what we have here. We have one of those connecting cubes. Here, we have, obviously, a cube. We just used it. Looks like all those faces are the same size, so we can call that a cube. But you also notice that that little round part that we have that connects one cube to another cube, that right there looks to me like another cylinder. So again, one three-dimensional object that's got 2 3D shapes in it. Number 4, same thing. We have, kind of like with the tack up here, we have another cylinder that sits on top of those 4 legs of this table here. It looks kind of like a big long disc, but I think we're just going to call that a cylinder, because we have talked about the cylinder, not so much about the discs. Then each one of these legs looks like, once again, another prism. We have, looks like probably a square on each end, and then we have those long rectangles connecting the squares. So we have 4 prisms right there as well. Here, we've got, it's kind of interesting here. It's a lamp, but it looks like we have a cone up at the very top, as the very top of the lamp where the light bulb would be. So we have a cone there. And then it looks like we have a very, very long cylinder right there, and kind of a short squat cylinder down here again. So once again, we've got a couple cylinders making up our 3D object. Number 6, once again, what do you see? Okay, it's much, much longer than this, but that's what we have. We have a cylinder and we have a cone. Okay, in that crayon, we got our cylinder right here, and then we have our cone right here. We have a lot of cylinders on this page. Down here, I'm not sure why I don't have lines, but we're just going to write it underneath. This one looks like we have a very, very perfectly round object, just like this. Like I mentioned in the last video, my favorite 3D object is the sphere. So we can put that down here. I rhymed, and I didn't even try. And then it looks like this pot is trying to be a cylinder. So again, we're going to call that a cylinder. Looks like it's kind of got a little bit of going out on it, but we're just going to call that a cylinder. Number 8, looks like we have a prism there making up the juice box itself. And then we have another cylinder coming out of the top, that's straw. And then here, boy, that one looks like a lot of stuff. But mainly, we've got a pyramid up on top. You can kind of see that on the very, very top of that tower. Looks like a pyramid to me. And then we have that clock. Technically, they're not flat. We could call that a cylinder. And then the towers that we see, they look like prisms. And I don't know if I see anything else that we've talked about in there. I'm just going to look one more time to make sure. I don't think we see any cubes or cones. I think everything else we got covered, but that one's got 3 of them in it right there. But that was kind of the main purpose of this video, just to show you, you know what, there are many, many different 3-dimensional objects that make up things that, you know, we don't really think about much every day. Something as simple as a table, or a lamp, or a traffic cone, or a tack, or buildings. Okay, next time that you look at your house, look at the house, look at the apartment building that you're in, look at wherever you're at. It's made up of a lot of different 3D shapes. So keep that in mind going forward. Like I always love to say, math is all around you. You cannot get away from math. There is always math. No matter where you go, there is some kind of math that can be done. There's some kind of math that made up where you're at. Math is a big, big, big deal. It's a pretty cool thing. You might not enjoy it. It might not be your favorite. But math is a pretty special thing. It's always with you. It's always around you. It's that friend that is always there, whether you want him to be or not. So keep that in mind. That is the end of this video. Like I said, it was going to be fairly short. It's about half the length of the other videos I usually put out. But if you did find it interesting, or if you have enjoyed any of the videos that you have been watching, do remember, hit that subscribe button. Ring that bell so you'll be notified when I do upload new videos. Like I say, I'm trying to put up a lot of them at this point in time, now that it is summer. And getting ready for next school year. Try to help you guys out if you happen to have any questions. And like I said, if you enjoyed it, drop a like, drop a comment, let me know. If you have any other video ideas, throw them in the comments as well. I'm happy to try to make whatever you guys throw out there. I'm just trying to fly through some math videos at the current time, but we'll kind of see what you got. I'll take whatever suggestions we have in the comments and try my best to make some videos of those as well. But thank you for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day or afternoon or or evening, whatever it happens to be when you're watching this. And I hope you'll join me next time for more statistics, data, and graphs, all that fun stuff. So, we'll see you later. Take care.